You guys, I figured out the source of all my fucking problems. It's this worn extruder gear on the extruder, obviously. So this gear is meant to grab onto the filament, and as it spins, it pushes it into the nozzle. And the problem is as this was going, it would work fine with prints that were a few hours long, but eventually dust would build up in here and basically prevent this gear from catching and pulling the filament. And so the printer would be going, it would just be going in midair with nothing coming out of the extruder. I replaced a bunch of parts. For some reason I thought this was always supposed to have this little channel. I didn't realize it until I started looking at replacement extruder parts that this was not actually supposed to be indented like that. So the problem is, the reason why I have this taken out of the printer is these little grub screws there. That's not very good, is it? These little grub screws are stripped. I will be honest, I feel like they put some Loctite in here because I didn't really try that hard to remove them. I felt like they stripped out. So what I'm gonna do is get a Dremel and try to cut a little slit in both of these screws and then just use a flathead to take it out. However, this whole gear mechanism, this motor here, is only about $12. So what I'm gonna do is buy a brand new one, start fresh, eliminate this whole thing from the equation, and then remove this gear and have this as a backup. But yeah, this has been about a year old, so, you know, I do a lot of printing, probably more than the average person for the business, so it's not a bad idea to replace this. It's only about $12. So we'll replace this, try to get this part back in sort of a storage for future. But yeah, glad that we finally figured this out, and I'm almost 100% sure that this is our problem. This is nerve-wracking. I'm sending my island from my old Switch to my new Switch OLED, which I just got for my anniversary. Shout out to Victoria. Pretty nervous. I think I've spent hundreds of hours on this Switch playing the game. It's my all-time favorite Switch game, and I'm hoping everything goes smoothly. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So we'll check that out here in a second. Okay, up next, we're transferring a little over a gig of save data from this one to this one. This is a little more complex because I have two switches that I need to transfer into this one. But let's see how that goes. So far, so smooth. Oh, there we go. Got a little progress bar. I haven't really gotten to really even mess with the OLED yet. So I don't really have any actual feedback or thoughts on it, but I think this setup process is a bit cumbersome. It says it saves a lot of this stuff to the cloud, but I feel like I'm having to have both of the switches right next to each other to talk to each other. So not quite sure how that works, or it's supposed to work, but it seems like I'm doing this all manually. All right, just want to give you guys an update on the state of the printer. So I don't know. There were some videos and posts that I was seeing that said that this is normal wear and tear on the gear, though it can become excessive to the point where it loses traction. The reason why I think that it is losing the grip on the filament, when I came this morning, when I got here this morning to look at the printer, it was kind of like printing up in the air, but the part was here. So imagine this is here, but it was printing almost like in the air. And so I stopped it, and I decided to run a test where I'd immediately just try to print it again, and nothing came out. And when I looked at the gear, it was spinning, but nothing was advancing. So I knew that there's not, or at least I believe that there's not a leak, or a bunch of filament in the nozzle. The nozzle's new, the hot end is new. There's no evidence that this plastic is backing up into the nozzle. What that would look like in the nozzle is you would just see like all this filament just all over this part. It'd be like a big blob basically. And I'm not seeing that. So I know, or at least I believe the problem is here. Now, another problem that it could be is from the factory, this Capricorn tube is what it's called. it was already into this hot end, and I didn't mess with it because I felt like it was pretty good there. And then you plug it into here. Now, it is possible that it's not seated fully into here, though I did check that when I changed the nozzle, and it is fully seated. And I did fully seat it into here. It's possible this is an off-brand Capricorn tubing, and this is causing some problems, so I ordered the name brand stuff, though this says it is name brand. I'm not quite sure. As far as this motor goes, having a lot of trouble still getting these little grub screws out. So worst case, this motor is $15, and then I can deal with this problem later. But I do also have the full hot end replacement kit, or not the hot end replacement, but the extruder kit that I do have all those parts in already. This replacement motor will be here on Thursday, so in theory I should have everything there. But this is a look at the exploded view of the old extruder, which was here. So I'm going to replace all those parts and see if that fixes anything. Worst case, I'm just gonna buy a new printer. At this point, if the hot end, the motor, the extruder gears are all new, and the Capricorn tubing and it's still having problems, then maybe it's the motherboard, and at that point it's just not worth it to fix it anymore, and I'll just keep this for backup parts. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll check in Thursday on the printer stuff.
I'll sit back with you.
Chat, we're in an emergency, a laburgency. So this is Doppelganger. He lives a life worth living. I'll say that. He goes out everywhere. But I think his hat stained his eyebrows. And it's absolutely killing me. And then Remy, his eyebrows are dark too. And it's absolutely killing me. Apparently if you use this wipe, it's like a micellar water, it might be able to help. So we're gonna give him a wipe and see if that helps. Okay, it's hard to tell, but I think on Remy, I think that did help quite a bit. This little wipe, just gently going on the brows. I think that did help. With Doppelganger, I don't know. It doesn't really look much better, to be honest. But again, this one goes everywhere with me pretty much. This is kind of like my guy. So I get it. And I think 2025 for me was the year of being able to use things and be okay with them showing signs of use. But it's killing me. So we're gonna look up on YouTube some tips and tricks, see if we can get this fixed. So like any father would be in a crisis, I was panicking last night with my Labubus. But the white one with the Supreme, we call him Jordan, and then Doppelganger is actually Remy. I was in a panic. I was in a tizzy last night trying to fix it. I think I fixed Jordan, the white one, pretty well. Remy, the one who goes everywhere, I don't know if he's going to be fixed. He might just have a little twinge of black, but I'm still looking into that. It's lunchtime. It's Wednesday. We had a great show last night on CW. Did our 75,000 subscriber giveaway. But I'm actually going to McDonald's right now. They have this collection. I think it's called Little McDonald's. But they're like miniature little Happy Meal toys. There's like a phone, there's like the soda machine, a bunch of stuff. But a bunch of the parents from gymnastics are trying to collect them. And one of my friends, Allison, she's looking for the Boo Bucket. So we're gonna try to get that. I don't really think there's any one in particular that I really care about. They all kind of look pretty cool. So far I have the phone and the mini Happy Meal, and those are pretty cool. But basically any that would look cool with the boo-boos would be a W. So we're pulling into McDonald's right now. We'll see what if they have any, and we'll see what we get. All right, so we have 2 Happy Meals here. Let's see what we got in both of these. Open the little tabs. So we got our chicken nuggies. Let's see. Okay, we got one here. And these are pretty cool. They have little stickers inside, and just some different little kind of fun things for the kids, or adults, I guess. And I wish they'd let you just buy the toys separately, but you have to get the whole meal to do that. So let's see what we got. Also, I realize this camera angle is really terrible. Let's see what we got. All right, so for the first Happy Meal, we got we got the golden not nugget, but the golden Happy Meal box. That's pretty cool. It's very shiny. These are really cool. I think there's little, let me put the phone down. There's usually like little stickers inside. Yeah, so you can open it. And it comes with a little sticker sheet, which is pretty cool. I guess it's different. The other sticker sheet was red. This one I think is, yeah, it's a gold. That's pretty cool. So we got that one. That'd be cool if we get 2 of these. That'd be dope. And let's see, we got another one. Hoping for a boo bucket. Also, I guess they changed it because you used to have to pick between apple slices or fries, but I think in that first one I saw fries, and yeah, this one has fries also, which is nice because Vivi does like the apple slices. So let's see what we got here. Hey, let's go. I think that's the brew bucket. Yeah, it is. Although I think someone put the stickers on it already. Oh no, this is just the print. That's cool. So we got both of the one, or I guess one of the ones that we wanted, and then a golden Happy Meal. So that's our haul today. Here, let's put it like this. Amazing. This thing is huge too. I thought it'd be much smaller. I wonder if there's, let's put this down again. I wonder if there's anything inside of it. There's not. I wonder if there's little stickers in the box maybe. Oh, maybe they're in there. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Although kind of weird that they don't give you a sticker sheet. I guess they pre-decorate the stickers for you on the top. But anyways, shout out to McDonald's. I think it's a really cool Happy Meal collection. Just dropped it and broke it probably. But yeah, shout out to McDonald's. I think it's pretty cool. So we got the parts in for the 3D printer. We have the new motor, which is here. We have the extruder parts. This gear came with the motor, but we're not going to use that gear. We also have all the parts for the extruder, which are very similar to the parts that we just took off. Put this gear here so we don't get them confused. And then we also have the Capricorn Bowden tubing that we'll replace as well. So we'll go to the printer, we'll start putting these parts on, and we'll check in how it looks. So that was kind of a pain in the ass. There's not really any instructions on how to do this, and honestly not a big fan of this process. But what we're doing now is calibrating the E-steps. So you extrude a known amount of filament, in this case 100 millimeters, and then we compare it against the printer's value. When we did the first extrusion, it was 94. The second one was 99 point... What was it, babe? 99 point what? No, the top number, the amount actually extruded. 99.2, so we're still about 0.08 off, or 0.8 off, so we're gonna run it again, and hopefully we'll get to 100 on this one. We'll check the Capricorn tubing, lock down both of the ends of the tubing, and then run a test print. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so I don't know if this was the problem. I think it was the problem, but I was still having issues. You can see this print here, it just kind of stopped printing almost, and the details were very shaky. I don't have the piece. It burned the shit out of my finger when I took it out. But I think what happened is this hot end, so underneath here there's a metal piece, came from the factory with the Bowden tube installed. And I think what happened was, from the factory, the stock Bowden tube either was cut improperly or not fully seated down, and it also had a nozzle installed already. And I think what happened was there was a small gap between the nozzle and the Capricorn tube. In fact, let me see if I can take this off while it's printing. So if you look here, at the printer, beneath this little silicone sock right here, there's a little tube right above that CR, and that's called the throat. And it's actually not hot at that part yet. It gets hot, so there's the fan here, and then the heat block on the bottom, and between that is the throat. And that's actually not a super hot part of the printer. And so what can happen is the leaks that I've experienced in the past have all been past the throat in the actual heating element part, and those present like a big blob. But what had happened was there was a gap between this blue tubing, which runs from there all the way down into here. There was a small gap, and a little bit of filament, as it would print, would escape between the end of the Capricorn tubing and the heat block, or the throat rather. And that was causing like 1 to 2 hour prints, maybe even 3 hour prints were fine, but anything longer than that would start to essentially just not extrude anymore. The motor would stop extruding, the printer would be hovering. In this case over here, I caught it right when it started, so I didn't waste a bunch of time. But what that presents as is, like I said, the filament has nowhere to go, and because it has nowhere to go, it just stops. And the printer will keep printing, or thinking it's printing, but nothing's actually coming out. Gotta get that back on here in a second. And so what I had to do was take off this collar here, and then take off the nozzle, and I noticed I couldn't see any light down there. If I was shining light from the bottom with no nozzle, or above, I couldn't see light. And so I used a metal needle to push out. It was a pretty big blockage, and I'm really bummed that I can't find it. But imagine something that is, you know, as thick as this tubing, just a solid piece of plastic that was stuck in the throat where it doesn't get particularly hot. And ChatGPT says that is definitely the problem, or it believes it's the problem. That would heat up over time. It would swell, the filament would swell as it's passing through, and eventually it would swell enough that it would totally block the hot end. I know that's really boring and it's really technical, but I've been working on this, trying to figure this out. I don't know if it's going to fix 100%, if it's ever going to work 100%. I'm not quite sure, but for now, at least, I think I know what the problem is. And I don't know. I mean, I printed these perfectly fine. Again, this is about an hour print, so those printed perfectly fine. But yeah, it's now printing okay. So I'm not quite sure what's going on, but we'll see if we can't do a long print here in a little bit. All right, so we just ran our first about 7 hour print. Don't know if it's enough filament that it would have caused the issues that we were seeing. Seems like a small amount of progress. So not the update that we hoped for. Ran that 7 hour print last night. Ran a 3 hour print today. It failed after an hour. Came back, tried some things, and now the prints are not sticking to the bed. I think the bed could be dirty. I think there could be some things with the bed. I think the nozzle could also be crooked, but it's really getting to this point with this printer that, you know, you start to wonder, is it worth it to keep troubleshooting the time and the parts? And the parts haven't been that expensive, to be clear, but, you know, I really feel like giving up, to be honest, with this printer. I know it's not the filament. The filament's brand new. The extruder is brand new. The extruder motor is brand new. The hot end's brand new. The Capricorn tubing is brand new twice. The nozzle's new twice. So I really don't know what could be causing these issues. But we'll pull this hot end off. That fan is working. I believe this fan only spins when it's actually printing, but I believe it's working as well. But we'll see what we can figure out. I mean, the nozzle looks fine to me here, but let's get the troubleshooting. See what we can figure out. So as much trouble as the Ender printer has been giving me, knock on wood, the Elegoo printer has been just a workhorse. I've had almost no issues with it. I think the old Elegoo worked fine as well. I think the key was switching resins to the Anycubic ABS-like resin. I think I've had a failure rate with this resin of, honestly, maybe less than 1%. With the old resin, I think it was closer to 20% to 30%. Maybe 20%, 30 is a bit high. But switching to this resin has been fantastic. And I know even Ian from Small Talk switched to this as well and has had a lot of success. But I'm working on something for Manny. It is a Kane mat. I believe it's Kane from his favorite wrestler. And I'm excited to see what he does with it. I'm going to be meeting with him hopefully, I think tomorrow, to give this to him. But yeah, we'll see if he likes it. And if he's able to get it, I'll see if he can shoot me something for the vlog.
What's up, y'all? Boogey Manny here. So I reached out to Zach and I asked if he would be down to print something for my Labubu because it is naked. He said yes. What is it? I sent him a file. He printed it. I painted it. I'm so excited to show you guys. Here it is. Look at that. It's a little Kane mask. How awesome did that come out? This is the first time me trying it on. I just installed these things. I hope the glue's still not wet. I think we're okay. And if it's happen to get stuck, then he'll lose a little bit of hair. All right, we're gonna try this on right now. Okay, whew, we're done. Look at that. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? Oh, I guess I can hold it like this. Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you, Zach. I love it so much. Let's get another one of these printed. We'll do a different paint scheme. Maybe I'll do black with red stripes. I love it. Thank you, dude.
So the printer stuff has been really frustrating. I really don't know what the problem is. I think it's possible. Well, I don't know. Actually, that probably wouldn't be the problem because it had the problem before I switched to extruder gears. But I was saying I think the spring might be too strong on the new extruder mount. But I swapped it out. I don't know. I printed like a 7-hour print fine. It printed a 3-hour print fine. Printed a 2-hour print fine. But like a 4 or 5-hour print, it's just not working. And I can't have that, even though most of the stuff I do for eBay is hour or less. So I ordered a new printer. It should be here tomorrow, Sunday. And it's actually a bamboo, and it has the multi-spool where it can print more than one color at a time. So that'll be interesting. I need to clean up the printer area and make some space for that. I may wall mount it, but I need to make space for everything. But this morning it was weird. I was wearing the anniversary watch that we just got 2-3 months ago, and the clasp, like this part right here, exploded. I don't know what happened. It didn't look rusty. It didn't look like, I don't know. But fortunately, Omega, San Antonio, and also Ron from Topper, they were both willing to work out some solutions to get that fixed. So we should be getting it fixed here pretty soon. We have a vacation on Thursday. We're going on vacation, so gonna have to figure all that stuff out. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting experience working with a new printer, and it's a new slicer and everything like that. But yeah, so we're gonna go see what Omega can do. So my dad's band is having their final concert ever at Flying Saucer. Well, for this band, he'll still have other bands. So we're going to Flying Saucer in San Antonio to watch him perform. See how it goes. See if I can get a video. So here's a little peek behind the curtain. We don't talk about this a lot, but we obviously have Patreon. Talk about it on the vlog at least. We have Patreon. And part of that is mailing a bunch of stickers and magnets in this case, a bunch of things like that. So spent the morning getting this stuff organized. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the addresses and stuff, but we have, I think it's 45 of the $7.50 and $15 Patreons here. We have, I think, 3 or 4 of the $25 Patreons, and then for Thomas's magnet, which is here, we had a bunch of people that wanted it that weren't Patreons. All they had to do was send us a letter or a small fee for postage. So we got all of these done today. These are all going out this week, and yeah, it took the better part of the morning to do, but we got it done. So we'll send these out here in the next few days. Fucking printer is in. Let's fucking go. All right, we're gonna install this. We're gonna set it up, run a test print. Somehow, by some miracle, my printer was able to print the last 2 prints that I needed from it. So shout out to the Ender 3. We're going to get this taken out and installed, and we'll see how it looks. All right, so we are running the first print. It's a little loud. It's kind of alternated between super quiet and pretty loud. And I noticed that it is producing some waste even for the single color print, which I'm quite surprised for. But I think that's just to keep the nozzle clear and keep everything going. But the waste isn't really that terrible. But yeah, I got the camera down there going. Hopefully it's gonna make a nice little time lapse. But yeah, it's going. You can see there it went from quiet to a little loud. Not quite sure what the difference there is. But yeah, not too bad of a setup. Maybe 20-30 minutes. There's a little more involved, I think, than the other printers that I've used. But yeah, it's not a bad printer, and we'll see how this goes, and we'll run a couple prints in the vlog and see what we got. And we're gonna leave the vlog here. The new printer's working okay. I feel like I've had a few more failures with it than I think I'd like, but it's also a new printer, new software. Got to figure things out. But we're going to practice with it a bit more, see if we can get a little better results. I do think the blue filament that I was using on the old printer is just not good. It wasn't printing even simple things with this printer, whereas the other filaments all seem to be working fine. But at any rate, we're going to see what we can churn out with this, see if we can get some cool time-lapse videos, and we'll check in next week. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a long one, but love you, and we'll catch you on the next vlog.